Good evening, and welcome to another discombobulated version of Diatribes from the Voice of Doom. Now here's your disambiguous and disingenuous host, Voice of Doom. Alright. I figured I'd do another diatribe. I've been meaning to do one for a few days now, but they got me scheduled for a lot of days, so I have to work, and I just don't have the time to get in the commentary that I wish to. Now, a lot has happened in the last week. Many things have happened, and many deserve commentary. But I want to start by saying I'm not going to be a partisan hack. I'm not going to blindly cheer for Orangey, even though I think he's the best president since George Washington, but he might make mistakes. He might not be the perfect person. I'm not going to cheerlead for one side like some, knee-jerk reactionary. No matter what, our side is right, your side's wrong, and we'll use whatever means we can to gain power. But I will be the first one on my block to congratulate the D's for winning the midterm elections and taking over Congress once again, which will cause untold disaster throughout the world. But it's just a foregone conclusion that's what's going to happen, not only because of historical precedent, that whatever president is in office, the opposite side will win the midterms just because they want some buffer to their untold fascistic power that they have. And so my other postulate is that 85% of the electorate are idiots, utter brain-dead morons. I include everybody because they're not politically savvy, they don't keep up on the issues, and then they vote knee-jerk for their side, their tribe. And the D's are going to win. Not only do they have many states which will facilitate cheating, which they are known for, but things aren't going good on the immigration enforcement front, and I'll tell you why. First of all, if I pour gasoline all over my house and light it on fire, and then I put my car perpendicular to the roadway entering into my area to block the fire trucks from putting out that fire, and then I throw gasoline all over the fire as it's burning while the firemen are trying to put it out, and then I bitch and complain to the firemen how badly they're doing and how they're not saving my house from ruin. Now that's what I'm seeing. It's very obvious. It's a very good allegory. It's a very good metaphor. Because when you impede the removal of heinous people from this world, from this country, and either attempt to incarcerate them or send them back to their country of origin, and there are people that go en masse to impede you and create a ruckus and create confusion, then what do you think is going to happen? There's going to be whistleblowing, there's going to be people shouting and screaming, and then people get killed. That's an obvious foregone conclusion that anyone can see with half a brain, which most people don't have. Now, that's what I'm seeing. I mean, I can reiterate the same talking points of every orangeite and every tout on the media, that if there's a criminal in the jail and they have them, whether they're involved with murder or other things, then you simply call the authorities and say, is this person allowed to be in this country? And if not, then we will give them the full benefit of habeas corpus and their duly allowed rights. And if you are indicted for a crime and you are not here legally, then take him away. Save us the time and trouble and money of prosecuting this person. But no, they don't do that, do they? Now, who do they let go? The worst. I mean, you can say every single person that's not born in the US of A is perfect. The Immaculate Conception. They're all good people, every last one of them, no matter what. And then they commit heinous crimes, and since it's a sanctuary city, you're let go because you have your right to a trial, so we'll just simply let you go while you're awaiting trial. Now, I know probably a lot of people that are indigenous, born in the USA people, that rot in jail for months before their trial, only to be found not guilty. Or they're found guilty. I don't care what. It doesn't matter. There's certain people, when they're suspected of homicide and R-ing underage people and doing whatever else, you don't give them the chance to be out on the street again, because the smart person, which there's not very many, would flee. Now let's leave this subject because that's been done to death. There's been deaths, and they're going to argue about that back and forth forever. And that's why the D's will win. Because some armed person with guns on him was disarmed and then shot today. And everybody's going to make hay out of it, which shows you that those R's and D's don't give a crap about this country. They just give a crap about making hay out of whatever issue happens, whatever killing. People are expendable. They're a dime a dozen. There's 8 billion people on the planet. If a few people get shot for a political cause and to promote their narrative, then it doesn't matter. They don't care. They can go out on the street. They don't give a crap. So, I've been hearing a lot of things on YouTube from Minneapolisites, whatever the hell they're called, saying that ICE is dragging people and dragging pregnant women and dragging everybody. It's Nazi Germany. They're dragging them by their hair into unmarked vehicles and they're disappearing them. And I hear tons of that stuff, and it's like, show me the footage, show me the evidence first, and then make your claims. Because it's bad enough when you have footage, but think that you have to know, you don't know what the truth is anymore. Anything can be, manipulated visually. But I gotta think that, taking away the worst people and having them either deported or incarcerated is a good thing. And the way they're making these issues into partisan talking points and points to, further their agenda for being reelected. You know what'll happen when the D's get in again. Orangey will be impeached 15 times. There will be 15 or 16 hearings on different impeachment charges. Now let's get to Orangey. Okay. Davos is a conclave of elitists who, if there was any justice in the world, which there's not, would be rounded up and shoved into a pit. And they would be buried alive. But they're not going to do that, so we can forget about that. But there's a Greenland issue. What the hell is Greenland? And they show very clearly that Greenland is the area where, if there was some sort of interballistic confrontation, these missiles would travel over Greenland to inundate the United States. Okay. Now, is it that big a deal to take a wasteland with a population of about 10 and say we want to have American protection in this area? No, there's not. Now, the way Orangey does it, he's got to be dramatic, he's got to be, putting forward ridiculous notions. We're going to take it by force. We'll do what we have to do. We'll buy it, whatever. America's bought a lot of territory. It's already been said. The Louisiana Purchase, Alaska, was all bought and paid for because they thought it was in America's best interest to do it. And I don't even know. Most of these people don't even know anything. Seward's Folly, he was the Secretary of State or some such under Lincoln, and he wanted to buy Alaska, and everybody made fun of him. But I don't want to go into this past history. I just want to say that it reminds me, Orangey's ploys and the way he does deals reminds me of The Godfather, Part 2. You remember in the part where Senator Geary is all friendly? I have a check from Michael Corleone, and it's in $10 million, and he's such a great contributor to the betterment of Nevada. And then, in a few scenes later, Geary goes in the office with Michael Corleone, and they have it out, and both of them make threats at each other because they hate each other. So you put on this facade, and then you, behind the scenes, now, I think it's the opposite with Orangey. He puts on this facade of, I'm going to be tough and I'm going to do this and then behind the scenes he probably goes up to these guys in Europe, the high mucky muck elitists, and says, look, here's why we need Greenland, and here's the facts, and look at it and tell me you disagree. And they go, yeah, okay, I get it. And he gets his way. And he does it every time. So you got to tip your hat to Orangey. I mean, he's the most effective president we've ever had in history. I don't agree with everything he's doing. Actually, I kind of do, but this could be handled better. Here's another alternative, okay? I'll give it to you real quick. Just say, okay, we're fine. We're leaving. No more. We're not going to even... Forget the police. They're just white supremacists. They're patriarchal, fascists. So get rid of ICE. Get rid of the police. Get them all out of Minneapolis. All of them. And then let's see the warm-hearted people of Minneapolis and how they get along. When you have criminals allowed to have carte blanche to do whatever the hell they want. Just try that. Just see what happens. Human nature. 90% of it, human nature, is good, but the 10% that are bad can cause a lot of trouble. So, I'll leave it there. Just give you a couple ideas to think about. And I think they're good ideas, and everybody better think really hard, because we're coming down fast. Helter Skelter's coming down. By April, forget it. So, enjoy what's left of civilization. Goodbye.